Thank you for joining us. This is the presentation about the changes in applied engineering and technologies. And so we're basically going to do a quick overview. So the Applied Engineering Technology Division is in the process of a name change to better represent our division reorganization. And I'm going to go over some of those changes here in the next few slides. And so we hope to have that name change approval by the end of the month or early next month. So we have multiple departments, and they're broken down on two different types of degrees. We have AAS degrees, which is your Associate in Applied Science, and we have an AE degree, which is a transfer type degree. With our AAS degrees, we have three different departments: Applied Engineering and Design, Skilled Trades and Construction. A new department we created is Biotechnology. Back in January, the Transportation Department within our division broke away and became its own division as they had a new facility that opened up on North Campus. As part of that, we created a new department, Biotechnology, which has a new program starting up, and it grouped in also the non-degree curriculum as part of that as well. The AE degree program used to be in mathematics, science, and engineering, and they are now, since August, become part of our division as well. So basically, the biotechnology curriculum programs, the biopharmaceutical technology has been in place for a while. It operated under the engineering, applied engineering and design department. Now it's part of the new biotechnology department. And we have a new biotechnology transfer program that's starting up in the spring. The associate in engineering program that has moved over or into our division is located on the South, North, and RTP campuses, and it allows you to transfer to other schools through the United Articulation Agreement or the Independent Articulation Agreement. So the United Articulation Agreement is an agreement between the North Carolina Community College System and the UNC system. So NC State, NC A&T, UNC Charlotte, East Carolina University, UNC Asheville, and Western Carolina are schools within the UNC system that have engineering-related degree programs that you can transfer once you complete your associate engineering degree to transfer to one of those universities. Camborne University, being a private university, is covered under the Independent Articulation Agreement to transfer there for an engineering program. So our Applied Engineering Design department consists of architectural technology, civil engineering technology, construction management technology, electronics engineering technology, geomatics technology, better known as surveying, interior design, and mechanical engineering technology. New to this fall is our new mechatronics track for mechanical engineering technology, which mixes in electronics courses as part of the curriculum. In skilled trades and construction department, we have air conditioning, heat, and refrigeration, which is broken off in three separate tracks now. We have a focus. The first year, you'll go through the same courses, but going into the second year, you can decide on whether or not you want to have a focus in commercial air condition, which is your standard AHR track, or if you want to go more into automated side for the building automation focus track, or you can switch over if you want to focus more into commercial refrigeration. That is the third track that we have. Electrical systems technology is another one of our programs. Facilities maintenance technology is a program that incorporates courses from automation, electronics, air conditioning, heat, refrigeration, and electrical all into that one program. So if you're looking to go into a field that has a diverse mix and go into an industrial setting to be able to work and troubleshoot and maintain a variety of different types of equipment, facilities maintenance technology may be the right program for you. We also have plumbing, and we have welding technology. Now, we look at technology versus transfer. In the Associate in Applied Science, the focus is for immediate employment opportunities once completion. You're going to be gaining specific hands-on skills to jumpstart your career, and your focus is typically either a 2-year AAS degree, a diploma, or certificate. A lot of these programs have one or more certificate options if you want to get a particular focus on some courses to take in that program. The associate in engineering, or like associate in science, they have a transfer focus into a four-year senior institution to pursue a Bachelor of Science degree at one of the universities mentioned earlier. Now, the benefits of AAS, as I mentioned, hands-on learning, you get gain a lot of skills by doing the work in labs. There's work-based learning opportunity in some of the programs where you actually can go work in the field for a employer one of your semesters, and it might be 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, or 30 hours a week, depending upon how that program's set up. Another option, some of our programs have apprenticeships. Now, that is a collaboration between the employer and the school, where at the same time you're learning the skills and the knowledge in the classroom, in the labs, you're also going out and working in the field for an employer. And there's also opportunities for scholarships within those programs. Now, the technical careers are in high demand. The average age in a lot of these fields is like in the 50s. So there's a lot of people retiring out, which is opening up a lot of opportunity for those getting degrees and gaining those skills to go into those areas. You can have a career within 1 or 2 years, depending upon what credential you pursue. And we have very strong industry partnerships with a lot of the local employers, and there's consistent employment growth and good starting salaries. The benefits of the Associate in Engineering transfer is designed for transfer. Most of the courses are available all year, so if you end up taking courses out of sync, it shouldn't put you behind because that course is typically offered the following semester as well. Smaller classes in the larger institutions, if you go to NC State or some of the larger universities, like freshman, sophomore year, you may have classrooms with hundreds of students. In community college setting, your classroom size is typically 20, 30 students. And you have a lot more support for academic success because of the whole smaller classroom as far as number of students per instructor and just the support resources we have throughout Wake Tech. And it's less expensive tuition, so your education is going to cost less those first 2 years by pursuing that associate's degree. Some key points to think about. At this point, I'm going to pass this on to Mr. Perry Mons and Mr. David Johnson so they can speak on their area of expertise.
Well, thank you, Al. Most students who are coming in brand new have the option of being able to speak with one of the admissions advisors in student services. At that time, they normally will go over the applicant's background, and that will usually include the high school grade point average. And students now coming into the community college system, many of them will be placed based on their performance in high school. And so if a student has a grade point average of 2.8 or higher, they're able to move into the regular courses in their particular major. If a person had a 2.2 up to 2.799 grade point average in high school, then they typically have to take support courses in a lab type setting to make sure that they do not struggle through their regular courses. It's all a matter of support and a focus on student success. If a student has less than a 2.2 grade point average in high school, they're normally required to back up and take some review courses in reading, English, and math. Some of our programs, though, allow students to come into regular courses while they are taking the review, reading, English, and math. One of the problems that we've found as students are coming into the college is that they don't always follow through with the admission requirements. The transcripts that need to be received at Wake Tech must be official transcripts. when students request transcripts, they don't always follow through and make sure that the official transcripts have been received. And many students assume that if they've taken an advanced placement course, that all that official documentation has been sent automatically, and that is not the case. The students must go through the College Board and request official transcripts so that their coursework can be properly evaluated. The same thing applies to the CLEP exams and industry certifications. We have to have it official so it will be properly evaluated. Let's move to the next slide, Al. Okay, the advising process for technical and transfer programs in our division begin at the same point in student services with an academic advisor. At that point, things begin to change. When students in the technical area begin their program and actually enroll in courses, they are assigned a faculty advisor who is an instructor in their particular major or program of study. And that is the person who takes on the responsibility of helping the students pick out the right courses, choose the right sequence of courses, answer questions that they have, etc. For the transfer student, the first semester begins in student services with the academic advisor. But after that, they are not assigned an official advisor, at least not at this particular point in time. They are expected to contact the STEM Center, which is a support center, and when they send in the email, they will receive a response, usually from one of our engineering faculty, for either a virtual appointment, a face-to-face appointment, whatever needs to be done to answer their questions. Okay, in both cases, you have transfer options. If you're in the technical program, the plan usually involves course substitutions, so that rather than taking English 110 or Math 110, you have a higher level course that meets the transfer requirements. Rather than taking Psych 118, you end up taking Psych 150, which also is part of the plan for transfer. The courses listed as part of the AE program are all designed from the beginning to be a transfer level course. And so you're working to maintain a high grade point average so that you're competitive when you try to transfer into one of the engineering programs at a senior institution. The recommended grade point average for transfer in engineering is above a 3.0 and can be even higher depending on the institution and the program. David, do you want to add anything at this point?
No, I believe you've covered it.
Okay. So Al, let's move on to the next slide.
Okay, so now speak a little about a website. Our website, you can go to it directly at aet.waketech.edu. That may change in the future when a website changes. Of course, Applied Engineering and Technologies, that's our acronym, so that's what we have for a shortcut at the moment. In that website, you can find information about transfer options, career information, pathways, and our program planning guides, course descriptions, and technical standards. And the way our website is set up, you initially go into that aet.waketech.edu site, and You'll go down to the bottom. Now at the very top, you'll see some colored buttons. You can click one of those to scroll down quicker to the program or department you're interested in. And then one of the bulleted areas, you'll select the program. Once you select the program, it'll go into that program page. On the upper left is a degrees and pathways button that you select, choose the degrees. That's going to open up the different options. Now this one, this example for construction management technology only shows an AAS degree and certificate, but some programs also show the diploma as well. And if you click on one of those, like with air conditioning, heat and refrigeration, it has 3 tracks. You click on AAS degree, it's going to show you all 3 tracks. If you click on certificate, it's going to show you all the various certificates. On the right-hand side, you also see descriptions on that page. And as you click on the certificate, if it scrolls down and gives you more options, you just keep clicking until you get to the final choice. Then that's going to open up this page that's going to give you some information about what campus is it on, is it a day or night type program, when's it offered, how many credit hours, and then at the bottom you'll see program planning guide. So if you click on program planning guide, it's going to bring up a form that has a lot of valuable information on it. On the left-hand side, you'll have a prefix with the course number. It's broken down by the first semester, second semester, and third. Most of them will say if that semester is going to be a fall or spring semester or summer session. It lists the course in orders and groups based upon the assumption you're a full-time student. And on the right-hand side, you're familiar with how many credit hours a course is, but are you familiar with the contact hours? Well, our program planning guide lists the class and lab hours. That's the hours you're actually going to be in class or lab. And so you need to pay attention to that. So in this example here, that just disappeared, it shows a course that is 6 credit hours, but you're in class for 4 hours and lab for 4 hours. So you're actually have 8 contact hours to a 6 credit hour course. And then you got to think about the time you're spending outside of class and lab, working on homework, studying, and things of that nature. So now we're going to go into the website. Now, I've got the website already pulled up, and I mentioned that you can get into it by typing in aet.waketech.edu, which is going to take back to the same place. Another way you can navigate, if you forget what the website is, you can go into the waketech.edu main page and select the degree, diploma, or certificate programs, or at the very top left, you can select programs and courses. Either one's going to take you to this page where you can select degree programs. Then all the icons at the top are the various divisions at the college. The first one, Applied Engineering Technology, select that, brings you back to the same page. Now, I mentioned earlier that you can click on one of the icons up top to scroll farther down. Like if I click on the far right, and they're in the order at how far they go down the page. So left to right means top to bottom going down the page. So if I click on Skilled Trades and Construction, it scrolls right down to that section. If I click on Air Conditioning, Heat, and Refrigeration as a program and demonstrate what we just showed, degrees and pathways, you notice I have AES degrees, a diploma, and certificate. On the right-hand side, you'll see that each one has a description. Okay? Now, if I click on AES degrees, it's not going to take me to that page I showed you before because it has 3 options. That's why I say you go down to the last choice. So let's say we're looking at building automation. Now it's going to take me to that page that gives you all your information. And then you click on the program planning guide, and it gives you the information about that program. Now, we're talking about changes. And whenever you're navigating a website and you're in a program, this blue box down below says Applied Engineering and Technologies. When you click on that, it'll take you back to the main division page. Now, our division was primarily AAS degrees, which means it was set up more for the students that were going into a career but even though some would choose to transfer. Now, on the left-hand side, if you have difficulties navigating Wake Tech's website looking for information, you will see a lot of items over here that are also covered in Wake Tech, and we've tried to make it easy to find certain things. And as you click on something like admissions and registration, you'll see some drop downs and with some bulleted notes about walk you through that. But then you'll see a colored icon that takes you back to the actual Wake Tech page. So as you navigate through the website, look for those opportunities like new student orientation. Orientation details takes you to Wake Tech page. Registration information, hot links that take you out to the registration guide, priority dates. These are very important as we get closer to registration to know what is your registration date, what are your priority dates. And so you want to click on those and depend upon how many credits, know when you're able to register and what time. And then graduation. This is just one example, and you notice there's a lot of choices over here. Now, maybe you're someone who is not sure what program to go into. We have a tour all programs now. So you can scroll down. If you're more of a visual person, you can scroll down in alphabetical order, look at all the same programs that are being shown in bullets notation on the main page. You can scroll through and see a quick description and the different degrees and pathways and the financial aid options, if it has financial aid or not, on that page. Now, as far as changes, Associate in Engineering, this is a new department. You click on that, it's going to take you to their page. Now, Associate in Engineering is a transfer program. You click on transfer options, you'll see the articulation agreements. You can look at them in more detail. We also have direct links to the universities you may be interested in that those articulation agreements connect with. If you're interested in looking at go more in depth in the Wake Tech site, the lower links will actually take you to the Wake Tech site to find out more information. Okay, now as I'm showing this, if I go back to the main page, that transfer has been added to any one of our programs. Transfer option, a different list of universities. Why? Because this program does not have an articulation agreement with the same universities that the other program does. So keep that in mind as you navigate. Also, when you look at AAS, this top link will take you out to a search by degree. So you can scroll down and look for the program that you're interested in, and it'll show you which programs we have articulation agreements with for that program. Like in this case, air conditioning, heat, and refrigeration has an articulation agreement with East Carolina University or North Carolina Wesleyan College. Okay, so another thing that we hear a lot is students are interested in knowing more about how much they get paid or job opportunities. Well, I'm going to click to one of the other new programs we have, biotechnology. Okay, here on biotechnology, you notice when I go into the program, there's some right here talking about validation engineers, industrial engineering technicians, and you see how much they make per hour. And if you don't want to wait for it to go automatically through, you can click the arrow and progress quicker through it if you want to. If you go up higher up where it says job salary info, view latest data, it'll take you to a different page where you can look at what the annual salary is for that profession. And then you can kind of click and find more information on this page. If your interest is more about course descriptions, what courses are you taking? So if you click on the course descriptions, we have alphabetized every single course that is in your, if you do the largest program, the 2-year associates program, we have broken down and alphabetized all those courses, even the gen eds, where all you have to do is click on any one of them. You get description, you find out the credits, the contact hours on lab or class credits. You find out what the requisites are, is they a prereq or co-req, and like I said, a brief description. The way to navigate back to that page is just hit the back arrow on your browser, and it'll take you back to the page you're at. Go into humanities, you see it's got 3 class credits. If I go into one, I know it's got more contact hours. Let's look at, go farther down, the work-based learning. This has a work-based learning, so opportunity to get is 2 credit hours, which is 20 hours a week, work-based learning in this program. That's where you get to work for an employer out in the field. Okay, go back to the main site. We mentioned scholarships earlier. On the right-hand side, you see Duke Energy. Through Duke Energy, we have a grant that we are able to provide scholarships or hardship assistance or certificate reimbursement for our students in our programs. All you have to do is click on one of them to fill out an application. The brochure will describe what's covered, which programs are covered in some more detail. Also, if you want to know about anything in the past with our programs, we have an In the News site. It's where you can kind of get, I just mentioned scholarships. College announced 2 students just received scholarships. The gentleman on the right, Mark Vaccarelli, he is one of our electrical systems technology students, just earned a scholarship. And we put those news articles out there so you get to read about our students, our programs, and things going on throughout our division. Anything that we don't cover here in detail, I mentioned orientation earlier, we have orientation presentations. You can click on any one of these topics and get a presentation in more detail about these topics on the left, the menu items. So if looking at a presentation is easier than looking at the text, feel free to take advantage of that. We have division staff. So all of our division staff, we have the pictures and the contact info. Same thing goes when we go into our different programs. And now you click at Applied Engineering at the top, it takes you back to the main page. I can click on a program, click on program faculty. You have the contact information of that faculty. If you want to know what their background is, you click the full bio and it lets you know the background of their experience and their credentials. Other things that we have is if you go into, let's go into a different program. I'll go into the mechatronics or mechanical engineering technology. Okay, you notice that these pages look the same? Well, let's say if you want to know who's the person, the head person in charge of that program. The upper right-hand side lets you know who the program director is, gives their contact information. If you go into program faculty, you'll also see program director. You'll see them listed there as well. And technical standards. Here's requirements that are typically needed to be successful in these programs. If you want to know some of the things they've done in the past in the programs, they have some pictures of different things going on in the class, like they're designing a rollerblade skate on CAD. They released a weather balloon, and then they got a couple videos here on a hovercraft project that was done by students in the Mechanical Engineering Technology program. So as far as the changes, we added this tour all programs link. We've added the In the News link. We've added the contact information for the staff, division, and for all the programs. We've included the new transfer links. We've made it user friendly to be able to look at all of the scholarship information. And apprenticeships are big in our programs as well. And we have the WaitWorks apprenticeship link. Click on that logo, takes you right to it. Another thing about our programs is we have an association or partnership with Vernon Malone. That's why we had the Vernon Malone link here. So if you're in a program that's related to Vernon Malone, let's say like biopharmaceutical technology, we've got the link also on those pages where it takes you straight to that biopharmaceutical, what they're doing at the high school level in that program. So a lot of good information here. Like I said, advising, career research. You go in, you can find information about careers, take some surveys, degree pathways, look at articulation agreements. If you are in an AAS program and you're thinking about transferring, your program may have like English 110 or Psych 118 or MAT 110 listed in your program. You need to let your advisor know early that you want to transfer, because they may have to change or do a course substitution to switch that to English 111 or Psych 150 or Math 171, which are transferable gen ed courses. We got financial assistance link with the links back to the college sites, student success. And one thing I want to hit on here, we have there's success workshops through ILC that we got a link there, but also time management, something that students say they always have difficulty with. and we just kind of gave an example of a planner that you may want to set up for your own success. And that's basically a quick navigation to the website. Perry and David, is there anything else you'd like for me to show while I'm in the website?
Well, I think you've covered everything in fair amount of detail. I think it's important for us to emphasize that a lot of students want career information and they want to know the outcome, and we've shown them where they can get occupational information. But the other part of that is we've shown them the program description, and we have it there on the program brochure as well. And
it shows
all
you job
these
growth. And right here, it also shows job opportunities and job growth in the brochure.
And so that combined with the other information on the website can be very helpful. But many people want details about the program, and that's the real extreme details are part of the course descriptions, which is why we have listed those courses so that you can access the descriptions quickly and easily if you want the details about program content. The main advantage of our technical standards is it helps people determine how well they might fit into the program. Technical standards show two main things. One are the physical requirements, which might be the necessity to lift 50 pounds or climb a 25-foot ladder, or other specifics like being able to distinguish colors of wires when doing the electronics tasks. But they also include the soft skills that many of the employers are looking for, how to work with teams and so forth. So a lot of this gets into a lot of detail, and hopefully students will find it beneficial.
Okay, and thank you, Perry. And as he mentioned, as we go into a program, like I'm pulling up different programs just so you can see the similarities in the site, but the job information pretty much is concentrated on the right-hand side between the rotating careers here, the program brochure, and the latest data for job and salary info. Now, the other thing to look at is in the main screen, you'll see about the program, an overview, and then at the bottom, you'll see employment. We have videos at the bottom of each one of the programs where you can learn more about each program. So if you scroll farther down on the program pages, you can watch it. It's usually about a 2-minute video. Some are 1 minute, some are 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, but they give a pretty good detail about the video. In this case, we have one video. I think most all the ones in Applied Engineering Technologies have a single video. When you get into skilled trades, it's a little different. You go down the bottom of their page, they have like a 1-minute quick summary video on the left that's more academic focused, and on the right is about a 4-minute video that's more career focused about the partnership between the industries and the community colleges. And once again, like I said, you got a summary employment information at the bottom. In the middle, they got information about the coursework and the educational part of it, and at the top, they got a quick overview. So I bounced around with different programs just so you could see no matter what program I went into, you had a very similar outline on how to navigate to find information. We've tried to make our site as consistent as possible, but to where you could spend hours digging into all the different details to find out what you're looking for that directly applies to questions you may have or a program you might be looking for. So now I'm going to navigate back out to the presentation. So choosing the right path. Like I mentioned, new students to the program, we've done surveys and it was almost unanimous. Students in the program said the #1 problem they have is time management. Balancing that school, work, personal life, that they just don't seem to be able to get a good handle on time management, and that's something they struggle with. That's why we have the example out there on our website, in that student success option menu item on a calendar you can put together, a weekly calendar, on trying to put down all the different obligations you have so that you can kind of see where's your time going and planning your time out. Student goals and situation are you looking at being full-time or part-time? These are the things you need to be thinking about as far as how many hours to take when you're talking to your advisor. Are you pursuing or interested in a certificate, diploma, or degree? And look into the program planning guides. We have program planning guides in the certificate, diplomas, and degrees where you can see what courses are required, how many credit hours, and when it's suggested you should take those courses as far as when they're being offered. Okay, planning is critical. So things to remember: what's your timeline for completion? Okay, that's going to vary student to student. How many credit hours you're taking? Are you taking all the credit hours they're showing for full time to get out in 2 years? Some it may take 2 years to get out, just taking fall and spring. Some you're needing to do fall, spring, and summer all the way through. You might have to do 6 straight cycles to get out in 2 years. If you do apprenticeships, expect it to take 3 years or longer. I mean, it could double the time doing apprenticeships because you're taking less credit hours because you're trying to also parallel that with a partnership with an employer that you're working with. Are you working part-time or doing some side work while you're going to school? You need to allow for that. If you're going to school full-time and you're also working on the side, don't overwhelm yourself or overextend yourself where you're stretched out too thin and can't fully apply to your studies and to meet your goals as far as your grades and your GPA and all to be competitive in the marketplace. If you take courses out of sequence, pay attention to those program planning guides to make sure that if you take a course out of sequence, when's it going to be offered next? And if it's a prerequisite and it's offered once a year, not taking the right course or choosing the correct course to take if you're going part-time could extend your graduation by another year waiting to take that next course that's blocking you from taking other courses. So that's where communication with your advisor and paying attention to the program planning guides and looking at those course descriptions that we have are very important. Changes to the program. Usually programs change every couple of years as far as the requirements in the program. So the longer it takes you to graduate, there may be some courses that are no longer going to be offered, and you might have to do a substitution or take a different course or an extra course because of the changes in the program. So just kind of stay in tune with those type of things as well. All right, well, I'll let Mr. Mons go over this as far as the decision point calendar.
One of the main points of emphasis for student success focuses on getting started in the semester and communicating with each of your instructors. Soon after the drop-add period, you end up with the need to coordinate whatever work you're doing with your instructor so that you are maintaining your grades, keeping up with your assignments, and so forth. If a student finds out that they're behind, typically they should be contacting their instructors before the student break. The student break is not long, but it can be enough time for a student who's struggling to catch up, and it may make a difference in how well they do in the course. Typically, there's about a 10-day period following the student break where a decision has to be made. And that decision is whether they should stay in a course or withdraw from a course. If you wait too long, then you could end up with an F, and you don't want to do that. So you can see on our calendar here for fall, October 26th, about a month away, is the date where students need to make a decision about staying in a course or not. And then we have the dates just recently posted for spring of '22, showing that March 23rd is the last day to withdraw to avoid an F, etc. So those are points that come up routinely in our academic calendar, and students need to keep those dates in mind.
All right, thank you, Perry. All right, this is the contact information for our three presenters. My name's I go by Al Brewer. I'm department head for Skilled Trades and Construction Technologies, which is one of the departments within Applied Engineering and Technologies. We have Mr. David Johnson, who works through student services with academic advising, and Mr. Perry Mons, who supports our program. I'll let Mr. Johnson, Mr. Mons, would you like to speak any on your areas of expertise as far as anybody contacting you?
Well, I think if anybody has questions, either of the three of us would be more than happy to try to answer the students if they have a particular question or problem or issue with their program.
Okay. Yeah, and all three of us, if we don't have the answer when you first ask, we know how to find it. All right, so at this point, does anybody have any questions?